Well, this is it. Years of work and anticipation have led up to this moment. I'm gonna go get my Italian passport right now.
Temperatura normale, grazie.
Okay, that's unreal. What? I got it. I have it. I'm still amazed. Oh my God. Okay, so how did I get here? How did I just get my Italian passport? Let's start at the beginning. Where else is there to start? If we haven't met yet, hi, my name's Katie. I live in southern Italy. Benvenuti sul mio canale, oppure bentornati. Happy to have you here. I'm really gonna get to the nitty gritty of this for you all. So I'm breaking it into 3 parts. Part 1, finding out if you're eligible and collecting the documents. Part 2, collecting more documents, getting more certifications. Part 3, moving to Italy. Or that's the part you could do at a US consulate. But in my case, moving to Italy. Part 1. Let's rewind to 2015. Funny enough, I was in Paris, France, attending culinary school. And I remember one night getting dinner with a friend, shout out Nilu, who told me, oh, you have Italian ancestry. You might be able to get Italian citizenship. My great-grandmother was from Italy, she was from Calabria, and found her birth certificate and was having a really hard time finding my great-grandfather's birth certificate. He was born in Basilicata. Then, this happened. I could not be more excited because I just found my great-grandfather's birth certificate. So I'm in this teeny piccolo little village called Tursi, and we went to the Comune di Tursi, and I can't believe it. I feel like against all odds, we found his birth certificate. It's so cool. So it's 2019. I'm in Italy researching for my book, Cheese, Wine, and Bread. Order it if you haven't yet, of course. That is when things really started. And it felt like such a major thing, like a huge goal achieved to have found his birth certificate. And it was, but it was really the very beginning of the journey. The very beginning. You're eligible for Italian dual citizenship by descent, which is also called jure sanguinis, if. This is where the legalese gets real, so I'm gonna get this right, and I'm just gonna read it to you. If
you are of Italian descent or were adopted by at least one person of Italian descent as a minor,
and
at least one of your Italian-born ancestors was alive and an Italian citizen after the year of 1861,
which was Italian unification.
Neither your Italian-born ancestor nor any of your ascendants in the Italian line became a naturalized citizen of any other country before the birth of the next person in the Italian line.
Here are some of the disqualifying factors. And again, I will read it so I don't mess up. Look out for disqualification if
you have renounced your Italian citizenship voluntarily prior to August 15th, 1992.
Or, don't know who that applies to, or you could be disqualified if
your Italian-born ancestor was naturalized before June 14th, 1912.
So specific. That was something that we were worried might have happened, but not the case, obviously.
You have an Italian female in your Italian line who gave birth to her child before January 1st, 1948, or you were born before 1948 and your only Italian legal parent is female.
Gender plays a larger issue in this whole process than I ever would have thought it did. For the longest time, a female couldn't pass on Italian heritage. That law changed 1948. If your grandmother, if your great-grandmother was born before that date and you're trying to get citizenship through her, then there's an issue. But there are workarounds around it. Sue the Italian government. No, it's not like suing as we might think of as Americans, like when you pour hot coffee on your lap or something. It is more like a claim, a legal claim that goes down in court. You see how this gets convoluted and confusing really quickly, and if you do want to go that route, and following an Italian female's line of heritage, you're gonna have to hire a lawyer to do that, because you would be pursuing citizenship through the Italian court system. So if you're going through that list and you're checking things off and you're like, yeah, I think I qualify, cool, you might qualify, but they kind of look for reasons to disqualify you. I would like to introduce you to someone who got all of the documents and hit some of the disqualifying factors.
I always wanted to get Italian dual citizenship because of certain really sort of restrictive Italian rules. There was a certain date, between when my grandfather got here and when my father was born, and time in between that was too long. That just was one of the things that many check boxes. And I'm 94% Italian.
Oh my God.
I think I'm almost as Italian as you possibly could get. But at that point, I hit that roadblock and I said, okay, there's nothing I can do about this.
Thank you. And thank you so much for being a part of the Quirky Club.
It's so much fun.
That's awesome. I'm so glad. Patrick is a member of the Quirky Club. I hope you'll check it out. Every month I drop a new recipe. I do behind the scenes videos there. We have a monthly live chat for pizza night. It's a lot of fun. Check it out. And Patrick, thank you for sharing your story. And now, to talk about what happened next, let's bring my partner in life, my partner in crime, Connor. Hey!
Ciao, guys.
I have to give credit to this man who encouraged me when I got frustrated and when I wanted to give up and was like, I don't even know if this is gonna happen, if this is gonna work.
I'm a little more patient with bureaucracy than this one here. Let this be a reminder if you're like, oh, I can't handle this bureaucracy. Katie Quinn did it. And if Katie Quinn can wait through bureaucracy, this woman does not like to wait for anything, then you can do it too.
There's your cheerleader. There, see, he's good at being a cheerleader, right? Part 2. Once you've gotten those main documents of the ancestor who was born in Italy, you need to collect all of the documents of everyone in that descendancy line. Birth certificates, death certificates, marriage certificates. I think pretty quickly I realized this is a big bite to chew off.
Bite to chew off?
Is that not how the saying goes?
No. Well, how does it go?
I bit off more than I could chew.
Yeah.
Just the documents alone made me think, did I bite off more than I could chew?
Basically, if we hadn't have asked your mom to help us, we probably wouldn't be here right now.
Yes.
Make sure you request a certified copy from the body, whether it's your Secretary of State or whatever. And then you've got to get them apostille certified, which is like another level of certification, kind of like a notary. And then
you have to get them translated into Italian.
Luckily, there are great services that can help with that. One which we found.
It's called the Italian Passport. This was an agency that we worked with, and they translated all of the documents and then also basically held our hands through the entire citizenship process.
Yeah, and they were great. And if you think you have an Italian relative and you don't know how to find their birth certificate, they can actually help do that for you. So we'd actually done more work than we actually needed to. But I mean, it was still a pretty cool adventure that you got to go find it.
Yeah, it was still worth it for me. Part 3.
The best part.
Moving to Italy.
Or if you want to do it at home in the States, you can do it through your local consulate. But why wouldn't you move to Italy?
If you can, we highly recommend it.
So in order to get your citizenship in Italy, you have to do a couple things. The big one is you have to establish residency in Italy. So you have to either own a home and prove that you live there, or sign a lease and prove that you live there. That's where the Italian passport came in huge for us.
We just moved to Italy like 2 days ago, and we need to move into a flat before we go into the newest COVID lockdowns. Luckily, one has been scouted for us, so we're going to move in basically sight unseen. Fingers crossed for us. I considered doing this whole process by myself, like DIYing it, moving to Italy, finding the apartment, applying for citizenship, and I quickly realized, oh, that's a lot. That's a whole lot. It really was a blessing to have found this agency, the Italian Passport, and I'd have to say really quickly that they're not paying me to say this, to say anything nice about them. We have worked out a situation where if you reach out to them and use the code KatieItaly, tell them that you reached out to them because I sent you, you get a discount, and I also get a small reward. So just to be super, super transparent about that. But they basically held my hand through the entire process. Hey, so I'm just editing this video and I'm realizing that I didn't give you guys any numbers. I didn't talk about cost at all. It is an investment. The fees with moving here, our rent, all that kind of stuff, I'm gonna say around $6,000. That's pretty loosey-goosey, but there's a gist. In the end, all worth it. All worth it.
Why don't you tell them how you found the Italian passport?
Okay, found them through this Facebook group, US Dual Citizens or something like that. There are tons of Facebook groups about this, and I find them all very overwhelming because there's so much information. And anyway, reached out to them, started talking with them. I mean, Connor, you're just as much a part of this story as I am here, because every step of the way, I was like, Connor, what do you think? Connor, what do you think? Because it's hard to know who to trust, what to do, right? I totally get that. I'm reaching out to people and like they're wanting to see documents, like personal documents, and
Oh yeah, I hadn't even thought about it at this point because we've been doing it so much. But yeah, you're right. That is kind of a weird thing to do. You and I have different radars about what to be worried about, and so I was like, yeah, like go for it.
It worked out really well. They came through every step of the way.
If you're going on this adventure, this is hard, but like this is part of the adventure. You're navigating cultures, you're navigating working with like lawyers and business people in different countries. Like just remember that like the whole world has different ways of doing things. Just like take a deep breath for it and be like, you know what, hey, this could all blow up in my face, but like, hey, I'm trying something out.
I'm living, man, I'm living. Now we kind of get to speed right ahead because things happened really, really fast. Now it's less like pulling teeth. It's like, we're in Italy, we've got our apartment, we're with this agency, and they are taking us to the comune, introducing us to the correct people, putting in the applications. Today is an exciting day because I am in front of the Trani Comune and I am about to present my application for citizenship recognition on the basis of jure sanguinis. Everything is just moving along. In like, I swear, record time, about 3 months after I put in my application, I became an Italian citizen.
Big shout outs to the city of Trani and the Italian passport once again.
My Italian birth certificate and marriage license.
This is your birth certificate. No. Because we'd heard some real horror stories about how long it actually takes to pull this off. You know something to say?
No.
1991 riconosce che Queen Catherine Clay, nata a Hawaii il 22 aprile del 1986, cittadina americana, residente a Trani.
After I'm officially recognized as a citizen, I had to get my carta d'identità, which is an identity card, and there was some bureaucracy delays about getting that. You may remember us talking about that in a previous video. And then I picked up my passport, which is how this video began. So, whew, oh my gosh, Connor, did we actually just go through that whole entire, here, use this to fan me, please.
Man, what an adventure.
The adventure continues.
Always.
We're probably gonna live here for a full year. We're gonna have to think about things like Italian taxes. I talked to the lawyer who gave me some tips.
Well, usually the questions are to when I have to pay taxes and do I have to pay taxes?
Yeah.
I remember that in the US, you have the financial year that is different from the calendar year.
Correct.
The disclosure is probably in March or April. Here it's much more simple. The calendar year and financial year are the same. And also, we don't have a deadline. We have a range deadline.
That's very Italian.
Yeah, I know that.
But how long do I have to be living here before I need to start paying those taxes?
Well, it depends because we have 3 cases. The first one is you become resident. So that's the starting date. You have to file your taxes the year after. If you spend less than 183 days, you can skip the calendar year.
Ah, you don't have to pay taxes for that year.
Exactly. But if you start a business and if you start making money, it doesn't matter if you become resident on January 1st or December 31st. You have to file your taxes anyway. Taxes are coming.
So thank you, Paolo. As I've said before, the adventure continues.
Always.
Thank you, all of you, for watching. Connor, thank you for joining me.
My pleasure.
Grazie mille a tutti. Don't forget to check out the Quirky Club, my Patreon community, and thank you to everyone in that community because you allow me to do videos like this one. Don't forget to keep it quirky.
Sempre.
Ciao, 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 ciao.